What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over, and today we will see the last episode without the major city layer. Now, I said I would do it before this video came out, but this is being pre-recorded on Sunday, posted on Thursday. So, I'm struggling a bit with keeping up with this. I really shouldn't be, since I got free time now. But other than that, I'm good. I gotta make the explored water without messing anything up. It's just gonna be a bit of a small transition for me onto this new map. But I really do want to make everything look nice, have everything it needs for all of y'all. Because that's what y'all deserve. So before we do anything, let's mark some expanded territory. Or I mean explored territory. They're slowly going to get some of this. They're going to get all of like Vietnam discovered. They're going to discover Taiwan. And then I'm going to do that last. We're going to see discoveries in Africa. Lots of pushes into Africa. Lots of ways they discover how to move through deserts. But other than that, this is episode, like 12? So we really do need to start some big exploration. But here we're going to see a very important day in history. Korea lands in Japan, discovering a bit of Japan. Now, I really do think that Korea really wouldn't colonize Japan. Instead, it would be China. But as soon as they figure it out, because they're chill with China, they're going to let China know. And Korea has really been struggling. They got no connections or trade or anything. We're going to fix that one day. But other than that, they don't really have any connections with outside world. So they're just going to discover a little bit. Now China, who's been trying to work trade routes through like here. Let me draw this real quick. Through here, they trade with India, they trade with Turkey, they trade with a few people. Now they're able to do this because they got more resources from some of their land, and they've really been developing a lot. So they're going to discover a bit of Japan. This is going to be the start of it. Nobody's going to colonize any of Japan, but this is going to be a cool little thing we're going to slowly incorporate into the series. Now let's go for our daily Korea and China expansion. Alright, this is the expansion of China and Korea. But other than that, we're going to see a little bit of expansion into the island of Seoul and into Manchuria. I think this is Manchuria, or I'm too far north, I don't know. But they discover all of this island, connect it with this island in Japan. But other than that, that's going to be all we're going to see here. They're buddies right now. Just know that. I don't really think there's going to be any wars in Asia for a while. They're all really peaceful with each other. But here, there's major problems. Now, this Indian country has been experiencing some border issues with the Red Indian country. So, the Red Indian country is connected up to civilization better. Nobody really wants to cross over the Persian Gulf and Indian Ocean. So, nobody's really going to expand into that. So, we see red team troops accidentally cross over into the border of the southern Indian country. If there's a better name for this country, let me know. But they're going to accidentally do that. And this Indian country is going to be like, alright, bro, what do you want? Why are you in my borders? So they're going to do the same thing to them and push into here. Now, nobody's going to really know why this is starting. All the troops on both sides of this conflict really don't know why they're fighting each other. But they do. They fight. And it really escalates a lot. But overall, we're going to see the southern Indian country win a bit. Until the red team notices and they're going to be locking in. So they're going to spearhead up a little bit, thickening it to try to get to their capital. And it's pretty far away. So the red team's just going to be like, alright, buddy, calm down. Why are you attacking me? And without a second thought, the troops on both sides really don't know what they're doing. They're just confused. I would be too if I was fighting in this conflict. These countries had decent relationships between each other. It's just border problems since they're less developed than every other European country and all that mess. But we're going to really see how fast a border conflict can escalate into a war. All this is a border conflict. But if you have enough deaths on a border, that's gonna easily escalate into a war. But here we have all the red team troops sort of pushing back this country. Now, they are getting aid from the Turkey team, so the red team's getting help from that. But we do have the Sri Lanka country actually helping out this Indian country, since these two are really close, since they basically came from the same island. Other than that, we see most countries backing the red team here, since they were not even ready for this war. They didn't expect it to happen. They didn't want it to happen. So they're going to get a lot of aid. And they're more advanced in technology because of trade. But here we see the Southern Indian team making a push into their major territory over here. Trying to slowly push back the red team, but the red team's just going to crash down on them. Slip up on this coast so they can sort of Abraham Lincoln strategy this. Because that's what most countries would do in this situation. Is just try to make all their trade impossible. Now, they already do have practically impossible trade. So this is just going to lower all trade. Their main goal is to go onto this island and take out Sri Lanka. But as we see here, it's not going to be easy for them. This color is going to be their invasion of Sri Lanka, and this color is going to be India, southern India. It's not going to be easy for them, but they are going to slowly do it. So here we see smaller warfare. This is going to take a while to knock out, so they're just going to spearhead so much, capitulate this whole zone, slowly locking down their country. It's really going to look bad for the Sri Lanka team, and it is going to be bad. nobody really cares about what either Indian country does. But here we have almost all their territory quickly capitulating. And then here we go. The siege on their capital begins. Now this is going to really take a while since their capital is a super fortress. So we're just going to see the war here. Just peace out after a few pushes in from the red team. And this is gonna be quick since most of the southern Indian country is disabled by the low trade. Sri Lanka is gone practically. So here we see a peace deal between this country and then this country too. Alright, this is the peace deal. Both countries were disabled, but they really couldn't figure out any method to hold them that they would really like. This country only won because they had a way larger economy because of foreign trade and how this country couldn't expand or get anything from land. So what we're going to see here is a mark of trade routes that would have helped this war a lot. Alright, everyone, this is the trade route layer, and this is really going to look real nice for everybody. This just shows how the red team won the war. Now, time for the red team expansion into other territory. This is going to go gone for a minute. I'll bring it back occasionally just to see how trade routes work. But here I'm going to draw in the red team expansion. Now this is a little bit of expansion. A little rough looking. But they really couldn't trace where they were going. Their people are trying to go everywhere. They just want this upper part to be super organized. These parts right down here, there's nothing really here. Except for a few major cities where they started. Like here and here. But other than that, nothing really happens there. So we're not really going to see much wars this episode. But we are going to see my alliances play after this. So let's do the African update. Here we go. Now, this Portuguese team just traded the African area to this team. One, because their ports rebelled from down here, so it's harder to get to. And for the extra money from when they were in debt. So I'm going to draw in a little bit of expansion from this. Now, this is not going to be much since they just got the African area. But they really didn't want to give it to this country because this country is their biggest enemy. So they had to give it to someone. And just the someone was the country that rebelled from them. A few people were hating this. Their government already sucks. So we're going to see a little bit more rebellions in that country later on. But this Iberian area is just balkanized and destabilized. Alright, that is going to be the expansion for this Spanish country. And we're not really going to see much expansion from any other country. But we do see a little bit of movement here. And that will be it for African expansion. Maybe later on, more expansion into the Nile. But that's necessary. So, nothing much is going to happen. We're going to see the Venice country, Venice-ish country, get a major capital. Because they didn't have one before. and I forgot to draw it in. So I'm going to do that for all. I'm going to draw in capitals for all the countries that I missed yesterday, and I will be back after that. Alright, I'm pretty sure all the capitals are drawn, but this country is going to go to war with this country that is more in Venice than they are. So they're going to try to become Venice, the sole holder of the Venice title. So they're going to push like this. This country's stronger than them, but they're newer, so they really can't do much. So they're going to get a coalition formed against them. This lime country is going to get themselves involved. This yellow country is going to get involved too. So we're just going to see a quick push from all countries. This country really can't react. So since the Venice team really did have the most ready military here, they're going to be taking most of the land. But they're going to surrender to the Lime team on paper because they had the better relations with the Lime team. They really wanted the Lime team to be their ally, and they would trust most of their people with the Lime team. That's why they gave the territory to them. But this Venice country is democratic. They just wanted the land for resources and ports. The Lime team and this country's democratic. The Lime team is a dictatorship. The old country that went away was a dictatorship. So we're going to see the land borders be formed. Alright, this is going to be how we divide the land. Now, this is going to be the last event for today's episode, but just to let y'all know, I did upload a TikTok, and the link to my TikTok is in my bio. It'll be the start of the YouTube and TikTok shorts. It's going to be short form content, WICSOs, that are going to go on TikTok and YouTube shorts. Now, that will be posted today, and then my first WICSO short will be posted, I'd say, either by the time this video releases or sometime during the week, But other than that, goodbye everyone. I hope y'all have a good day, and I'm going to edit this.